Hello, and welcome to part 5 of Introduction to Java series. Last episode we did methods, so let's go over that assignment real quick. Pretty standard stuff. Like I mentioned in that video, usually you use main method to test everything. Question 1, you just had to return your name. Question 2 was print stars. I think I demonstrated that, or it was part of one of the other videos, right? Question 3, method that returns if an age is greater than 18, and a method that gets the area of a circle. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much everything. I should mention that you could have also, instead of doing math.py, you could have just done r times r. That works just as well. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything for assignment 4. So move on to this part. So this episode we're going to be talking about methods from the string class. So let's type our main method, because this one's not going to involve methods as much. Static void main. Yes, what we just learned we're going to just ignore for now. Well, not necessarily, because now you understand what methods are. So okay, so method, we're going to make a string called phrase. Well, you don't have to, unless you want to follow along. That's totally fine. Do what I do. And just type any phrase. Doesn't really matter too much what it is. What we can do with this phrase is, say we want, let's say we want to make another string that just stores the word this. Okay, so we can call the string this. Not a really great name, but doesn't matter for now. And we can utilize the string we had up there, phrase dot, if I could spell right. Oh, yeah, there's a problem with that. Phrase 2, we'll call it phrase dot, and then we can do substring. Substring basically, you take a string and then you can select from a range of numbers where you want to cut off. So for example, this version of substring, I put in where I want to start and then where I want to end. And it's important to know that it counts from 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then so that S would be 3. But end index is where it stops. It makes sense, obviously, but it stops right before this end index. So, for example, if I set it at 3, it would just give me thy. We don't want that, so we make it 4, and we want to start at 0. Alright, and if we wanted to say, I want the rest of that phrase, you can do that. Phrase dot the other substring, you only put in where you want to start. So we want to start right at the end of this one. So the start index is inclusive, and then the second the end index is exclusive. So for example, we want this to start at 5. Well, actually, we want to start at 4. Makes sense. And then it'll get the rest of the phrase. Okay, so that's pretty much how substring works. It's, you take a string that you already have, or yeah, you take a string that you already have and then just split it up if you would like to, which can be helpful for some things that probably won't be useful in robotics wise, but might as well just teach it to you anyway, just in case. Have it in your repertoire. Okay, so there's other things we can do. So let's take that original phrase we had, and we can store its value into an int, call it length equals, we can take the length of a string And there we go. You can take the length of it. The length method starts at 1. So there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Length for strings, length is the only method that starts at 1. All the other ones start at 0. Just keep that in mind. Okay, that's how you get length. That's not... it's pretty useful for some things, but you probably won't find a use for it in robotics unless you're really good at finding things. I think the next thing we should go over is char_at. So, or char_at, some people call it. Doesn't really matter. Basically, it'll tell you if you put in a number. So for example, let's say I want, let's say 0, just to make it easy. So it'll do char_at 0. It'll give you the letter of any position in this string, which can be helpful, again, for some things, but not in robotics. But might as well just teach it to you anyway. So that's how char_at works. I should mention that if you ever do, let's see if I can find an example. Oh, so if you ever say, trying to think, if you wanted a character, so let's say how long this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Okay, I guess it doesn't really matter how long it is. But basically, if you were to, well, actually, we could just do this. Phrase.length. So what you'll have to realize is that when you work with char_at, phrase.length is 1 longer because it starts at 1, so you have to subtract 1. If you want to get the last character, which would be a period, I can show you that. Please work. Thank you. And you'll see it'll output a period. That's the last character. So what you probably don't know is that if you were to just do phrase.length, it'll give you an error. That's not fun because, you know, it's longer than the length, so can't do that. But if you were to do, say, substring of this, let's copy it. Substring at that. I can't believe I just did that. Okay. Do that. And we want to print this out. System.out.println. Paste that. And you'll run that and you'll notice it didn't give me an error. Well, that's because when you're working with this, if you do substring and you want at length, it won't give you an error because what it outputs is actually an empty string. It doesn't output a space or any characters, obviously. It outputs an empty string. Just useful to know that. Alrighty, what else could we do with strings? This one. I should have mentioned char_at returns a character. I probably should have mentioned that, but because index of is really the one where, so you'll probably end up using this one. Index of will give you basically it'll tell you what is at a certain value. Also starts at 0, and it'll return as a string. Char_at will return as a character. So yeah, let's see. Ends with some of these I don't use too much. You notice those stars, these ones. I'm assuming that's probably because they're most commonly used. You don't need to worry about that one. Oh, okay. So these ones are kind of useful. I don't think I need to demonstrate what they do because it's kind of self-explanatory. But 2 lowercase will make the entire string 2 lowercase, and then 2 uppercase will make the entire string 2 uppercase. Use it the exact same way. Except you have to set it equal, phrase equals, phrase.to uppercase. And then it'll change that to all uppercase. Pretty explanatory. Let's see here. String.net format you might use, probably not in robotics, but I might go over it. It's honestly not too important, so I guess I'll just pass on it. Is empty is self-explanatory. It'll tell you if it's an empty string. We already went over equals and equals ignore case. I think that's pretty much all of them, all the important ones anyway. So yeah, this is gonna be a little bit of a short episode today. I'm gonna delete that, and well, so as usual, links will be in the description for the assignment and useful resources like Java and Stack Overflow. Other than that, I think this episode's pretty much over. So I'll see you next time. Bye.